Bitcoin for me is the future.
Bitcoin to me is monetary electricity. I think it's the most powerful technology of the 21st century. It's going to make the economy run faster, cleaner, stronger, smarter, longer.
Raoul, you've said before that you believe that Ethereum could become bigger than Bitcoin. What are your 3 reasons why this could be the case?
I just want to reframe some of this. I think talking about DeFi is missing the point. It's like focusing on a micro aspect of what is the start of the digital renaissance age. Everything is going to change. It's not just how we bank, how we transfer money, how we store value. We're moving into a truly digital world of which everything around us will change. You know, people need to start getting familiar with things like the metaverse to understand where this is all going. And across that, once you start creating a digital world where, you know, everything from education to where people socialize is digital, where people store value, transfer value, create opportunity is all digital. That whole world is a very large world of which we now have this pristine collateral base layer, which is Bitcoin, which is phenomenal, right? That gives it the stability and the anchor point from which to build. But I don't believe that it's all going to end up on the Bitcoin blockchain, and it doesn't necessarily have to, even if it's suboptimal. I think it's a much larger space, and there will be a interoperability amongst protocols to create this digital renaissance age. And within that, Ethereum probably plays a large role. So, and I see it differently than I see the Bitcoin ecosystem currently. Again, that may change. We don't know where this is all going. It's organic. You know, it's driven by millions of people. It's not driven by one person saying we're going there. So where it goes is where it goes. But I think probabilistically speaking, it is a multi-protocol interoperable world with Bitcoin at the center of it.
Thank you. Raoul. Michael, will MicroStrategy also invest in Ethereum?
You know, our view is that, you know, Bitcoin is a treasury reserve asset, and it's $1 trillion, and that makes it the most stable monetary body in the economic universe. So we just went and borrowed $1 billion. We invested in Bitcoin. We'll wait for Bitcoin to flip gold. We expect to make $10 billion off of it. When I look at things outside, and I think that that's Bitcoin is, if you look over the last 6 months, the price is going up at 700% a year. If you look at liquidity on Binance, it was trading 605 million a day 6 months ago. It's trading 4,937 million a day. That's growing at a rate of 1,376% a year by a factor of 10. So the liquidity is exploding in Bitcoin. The price is moving up. It's stabilizing. If I look at innovation opportunities, I feel like there's 3 pockets of innovation in the world. There's crypto innovation at the base chain level, and that's what Ethereum is. And there's other crypto assets that are working on innovating in that level. There's crypto innovation at the layer 2 level, which is what Lightning is, or open source things on top of Bitcoin. And then there's a lot of centralized innovation going on at Square and PayPal, when Fidelity issues an ETF, when Morgan Stanley tries to sell a fund. All of these are innovations: big tech and finance and Bitcoin banking and crypto banking and centralized things. I think, look, you can just go borrow $1 billion, buy Bitcoin, and wait 3 years, and you might make 10 billion. That's financial, you know, that's just a financial play. That's a play. I feel like, to Raoul's point, we've got an explosion of opportunities, and you can decide that you want to focus in on the base layer crypto innovation area, or you can focus on layer 2 solutions, or you can just do more pedestrian things, like ask yourself, if you're Fidelity, how do you plug into digital assets? And everybody's got their opportunity. It's so big. So, and you can build an insurance plan that's based on Bitcoin, and it would be 100 times better than every insurance plan in the world right now. Is anybody doing it? No. Could you make hundreds of billions of dollars doing it? Yes. It's just a different thing. So I would say hundreds of thousands of opportunities. No human mind can grasp every opportunity. It's going to be a competitive market, and who knows who's going to prosper and who isn't. I don't know, but Raoul would say the market will sort it out, right? And just let the markets be the markets, and capital will flow to wherever it's going to work. And that's part of the wonder of what's going on right now.
Today's fiat system is broken, or at least there's lots of questions to be asked. Number one, and obviously more and more people asking this question or coming to that conclusion has also very much been driving the last 12 months adoption of Bitcoin by institutional investors. And if we look at just recent moves by central banks, by governments, US is a case in point. 1.9 trillion bill was passed. I think the Democrats are working on a 3 trillion bill now again for infrastructure and renewable energy investments. Question is, where does it end? And you, Raoul, you've basically framed the case that Bitcoin is the life raft against the debasement of traditional currencies. And now, but let me ask you the other way around. If you put yourself, given where we are, ceteris paribus today, the status quo we are today, and we know what's happening, if you put yourself in a central banker's shoes, what would you recommend them to do?
So I just want to go back to a point about the Bitcoin backed by nothing. I mean, I think Michael makes the point a lot. It's electricity, right? People don't get their heads around the fact that that's what you're doing here. You're basically using electricity to create a future financial value transfer system and all of the things that come off it. So it is backed. We're used to a world of petrodollars. That's the world we live in now, essentially. So there's a bunch of different things. In terms of what central banks can do, given the nature of central banks and given the nature of the crisis, I think I would have done the same. What would a forward-looking central bank do? They need to look at money itself. But we're not there yet. They just don't want to go there because they lose control of their own money if they do. But that's what has to happen. They know the problem. The problem is we're in a debt super cycle driven by the abuse of money, essentially. And that won't go away because they're incentivized to continue the same game. Because there's nothing like disrupting yourself, which they don't want to do. So they'll go half-assed towards it, which is central bank digital currencies, but that's missing the whole point.